Hi everyone, my name is Robin Speziali and I'm a national best-selling author of a book called Market Masters. You can pick up Market Masters at your local bookstore, library, or online at Amazon.com or Amazon.ca. So today in this video I'll be talking about 20 Chinese technology stocks and their American equivalents. All these 20 Chinese technology companies are listed on US exchanges. A couple months ago I researched a lot of the new Chinese technology companies that I started to see IPO and some in the past as well. I have previously invested in Baidu, Alibaba, and Tencent. These are three of China's largest technology companies. And Baidu, Alibaba, and Tencent, the acronym here is BAT, and this really plays homage to FANG, which is Facebook, Apple, Netflix, and Google. But I knew there was more in China, and I start to sense that there is somewhat of a Chinese technology renaissance happening there now. And while before you couldn't find a lot of quality Chinese tech companies that are publicly traded, what's happening currently today is that quite a few of these new technology stocks in China, they're actually spin-offs, or there's a lot of investment coming from the big three in China, Baidu, Alibaba, and Tencent. For example, Baidu recently spun off IQiyi, which stock symbol is IQ. IQ is the Netflix of China, and I'm starting to see a lot of examples of this. And the rules in China are such that a lot of these U.S. tech companies, they can't just enter the market. It's heavily regulated, and so these Chinese tech companies that are born in China are, they're given the space and the room to actually flourish and to grow into something very large, unlike a country like India or Canada, etc., where you have these big US tech companies like Facebook. They just quickly flood the market, and then that becomes the app that people use. And so the 20 Chinese technology stocks I'm going to be talking about today, these aren't all the stocks out there in the universe, but these are some of my favorites, and I just ask that you conduct your own due diligence and your own research on these as well. And what I did is I hadn't seen this on the internet. There was a report that came out after I posted my blog post and Robin Speziali on this, but I'd actually mapped all of the Chinese tech stocks to their US equivalents. For example, I named IQ, the Chinese Netflix, but I'm going to be naming all of the equivalents as I go through all these 20 Chinese tech stocks. I'll be pasting all the names as well of the companies into the description of this video so you can check it out and do your own research. So the first on the list is Alibaba and JD. So both Alibaba and JD, both Chinese companies, their equivalent is Amazon. Then there's Tencent, and a lot of people find that Tencent is a lot like Facebook. Then there's Baidu and also Sogou, and both of these, Baidu and Sogou, are a lot like Google, like their search engines on desktop and mobile. Then one I mentioned before, IQiyi, symbol IQ, is the Chinese Netflix. Then there's Weibo. I'll probably be pronouncing most of these wrong, by the way, but there's Weibo, which is the Chinese Twitter. Then there's BYD, which is a company that actually Warren Buffett invested in years ago. I think it was over 10 years ago. BYD is the equivalent to Tesla. Then there's Momo, and Momo is the equivalent to Match Group, and Match Group owns a lot of the big Western dating apps like Plenty of Fish, OkCupid, and Tinder. Then there's YY Inc. and Bilibili, and both YY and Bilibili are a lot like YouTube. Then there's CTrip, and CTrip is a lot like Expedia or any of those online travel booking sites like Booking.com as well. Then there's Baozun, and Baozun is a lot like Shopify. Now, I wanted to map Baozun to Shopify, even though Shopify isn't American, it is Canadian, based in Ottawa. I thought it was the right equivalent to use. Then there's Huami, and Huami is a lot like Fitbit, the digital watch manufacturer. Then there's 51 Job, and 51 Job is a lot like Monster, like any job site in the Western world. Then there's 58.com, and you could say there's some parallels here, not 100% overlap to something like eBay, and that's 58.com in China. Then there's a company in China called Cheetah Mobile, and Cheetah Mobile is a lot like Zynga. Then there's a company called NetEase, and I've mapped NetEase to Activision Blizzard. And while NetEase, it's not all they do. They don't just produce video games. Tencent produces a lot of video games too, but it's a large part of NetEase's market share and revenue base is in games. Then there's Huya, and Huya, YA, is a lot like Twitch. Twitch was a company that was acquired by Amazon. Then finally, there's AutoHome, and AutoHome, a Chinese company, is a lot like CarMax in the United States. So again, these are 20 Chinese technology companies, and if you look in the description to this video, I've mapped all of their U.S. equivalents. It's not 100% perfect overlap, but it just gives you an idea of what some of these companies are, and then you can conduct your own research and due diligence on these companies. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. If you have any questions for me, you can email me at r.speziali@gmail.com. Happy investing, and talk soon. Bye.